Okay, so let's go back 10 years. I was drowning in metrics, tracking everything from page views to social media likes, and it was causing me more stress than building the actual product. The last startup hit 7 figures in revenue, and I could track his health perfectly all the way through, thanks to these 3 metrics. Now I can spot a failing startup from a mile off. Today I'm going to share the 3 metrics that would have saved me months of stress, thousands of pounds, and probably my last relationship. Stick around because one of these is genuinely going to help you. Before we dive in, quick intro. I'm not just some YouTuber who read a business book last week. I built my last SaaS company from my flat spare bedroom to 7 figures in annual revenue. Along the way, I made every mistake in the book, lost sleep over some dodgy metrics, and watched brilliant founders crash and burn, all because they were tracking the wrong things. The brutal truth, 90% of startups fail. But here's the thing. Most of these failures are predictable months in advance. The founders just weren't looking at the right numbers. All right, so metric number 1, and this is the big one that nearly did me over. Your cash runway. This is like the fuel gauge of your car. You wouldn't drive from London to Edinburgh without checking how much petrol you've got, would you? Well, some founders run their businesses without knowing how long their money will last. Here's the maths. It's dead simple. Take your total cash in the bank, divided by how much you're spending each month, and that's your runway in months. So if you've got 50k in the bank and you're burning 10k a month, you've got 5 months to live. Pretty easy, right? But here's where I was a total mug. I calculated this once, stuck it in the drawer, and then forgot about it. Meanwhile, hiring people, increasing ad spend, adding software subscriptions, my burn rate had doubled, and I didn't notice until I was staring at considerably less money in my account than I thought there was going to be. The golden rule, I learned this the hard way: never let your runway drop between 12 months, not without a good plan. Why? Because raising capital takes forever. I spent like 6 months chasing investors whilst watching my bank balance disappear. Now I've got alerts set up early. I start networking with investors super early. 12 months means 12 months means you've got to start panicking and put a plan in place. 6 months means you're basically already dead. Metric number 2 is what I call time from 0 to 1. Basically, this is how fast can you go from having an idea to having customers who actually give you money for it. The metric is inspired by Peter Thiel's book, which is a brilliant read, by the way. But it's not just about how quickly your developers can code. It's about your entire team's ability to spot problems, build solutions, and test them with real people. There are 2 big milestones here. First, solution market fit. You've got something that semi-solves a problem that some people have. You'll know because you'll feel like you understand your customers' problems, and some of them will buy sometimes. Second, product market fit. This is when the sales team can use a fairly similar process to reliably sell the product at a pretty predictable rate. So previous, I spent 14 months building what I thought was the perfect analytics system. 14 months. My girl barely saw me. And when I finally showed it to potential customers, they said, it's pretty nice, but we're happy with Excel. I hate Excel. Nearly threw my laptop out the window. The fastest growing startups create tight feedback loops. Build small, test quick, iterate fast. No features should take longer than a couple of weeks from idea to customer testing. No problem should sit unsolved for more than a month. Time kills deals, and it kills startups even faster. Right, metric number 3. This is the one that separates the survivors from the casualties. Your sales coverage ratio. Your sales coverage ratio. Simple question. What percentage of your monthly costs are covered by your monthly sales? Let's say you're spending 20k a month to keep the lights on. You're bringing in 8k in revenue. Your coverage ratio is 40%. That means you're 12k short every month, and that gap is eating into your cash reserves. The goal is obviously to get to 100%. That's break even, and then beyond into profit. But the real magic is in projecting when you'll hit these milestones. You need these 3 numbers: average ticket size, deal cycle time, and deals per month. With those, you can predict your future with scary accuracy. When I finally started tracking this properly, I realized that I was chasing £500 deals that took 3 months to close, whilst my mate down the pub was closing £50 deals in one phone call. Guess who was sleeping better at night? Here's the beautiful bit. Small improvements in any of these numbers create massive results. Cut your sales cycle by a couple of weeks, increase your deal size by 20% or double your monthly deals. Suddenly, you're profitable way earlier. I track this weekly now. Not monthly, not quarterly, weekly, because trends matter more than snapshots. Here's the thing. These three metrics work together like a three-legged stool. You might only have 8 months of cash left, but if your time from 0 to 1 is 6 months and your coverage ratio is climbing every week, you're not in a bad spot. But on the flip side, you might have a year's worth of runway. But if your time from 0 to 1 is 18 months and your burn to sales coverage ratio isn't improving, you're in some serious shit. The founders who make it aren't the smartest or the most funded. They're the ones who see problems coming months in advance. These metrics will give you a crystal ball. I wish someone had told me this 10 years ago when I was drowning in meaningless analytics dashboards. It would have saved me countless sleepless nights obsessing over vanity metrics and probably a small fortune in business intelligence software I didn't even need. Don't wait until next month or next quarter to start tracking these. The startups that begin measuring today are the ones still standing next year. If this helped, smash the like button. Apparently that's what we're supposed to say on YouTube. Subscribe for more no-nonsense startup advice. Drop a comment telling me which metric scared you the most. If you're running a startup right now and want to chat about any of this stuff, links are in the description.